Oh, officer, you're not going to tell me I've done something wrong.
Let me see your driver's license, please.
Well, perhaps I was going too fast. But only a little bit, I'm sure. Here it is. As it is, I'm late for dinner, and Father simply rages when anybody's late for dinner. So perhaps I was going just a little bit too fast. But you see...
Yes, I see. You keep on talking, and I'll keep on writing. Hey, what's going on here?
I thought maybe you'd like a little more light. You know, to see to write.
I can see all right.
Nearly half past. She's not here yet. Suppose I might as well go over these bills before dinner.
I wish you'd wait until after dinner, Phil. You know how much bigger the bills always look when you're hungry.
Here's an item on the garage bill, $2.35. Has that girl been...
That's the fixing the fender that Bee dented.
Those children, you think I was made of money. The gas tank was practically empty in my car this morning.
Well, Jerry had it out last night. Bee had the convertible.
Funny that boy can't make some friends that live in this county.
Here she is now. Come down to dinner, Jerry.
Am I late?
Young lady, where in the world...
Hiya, Pop. I'll answer it.
I'm here if it's for me.
Hello? Hello, Uncle Jim.
I saw a motorcycle officer giving you his autograph a few minutes ago. I thought perhaps if I happened over after dinner, before your father got the bad news.
That will be just lovely, Uncle Jim. Daddy will be so glad to see you. And so will I. We'll be expecting you. Goodbye. Come in, Uncle Jim.
Hello, Bee.
Hello, Jim. Hello, folks.
Hello, Uncle Jim.
Hello, Jim.
How are you? Sit down. Jim, we've been talking about automobile expenditures. Now, you're an automobile engineer. Tell me this. Why doesn't it cost less to run cars nowadays? You fellas have got the price way down. You've made them bigger and better looking and safer. But it seems to me both Jerry and Bee use a lot more gas than I do. I know they bang a lot more fenders.
Well, a car, Phil, as you know, can only be as safe as its driver. Well, it's the same with operating costs. About how fast do you drive, Jerry?
I never push it very hard, unless, of course, I'm out in the country.
From the way you use up gas, I'd say that's where you drive most of the time, all over the country.
What's your speed limit, Bee?
I can prove my speed. It's 36 miles an hour.
Is that a ticket?
That's all right. 36 isn't expensive.
Not expensive. What about this ticket?
Forget it, Phil. I'll pay a game of cribbage for it later. What I'm getting at is this. There are expensive ways to drive, and there are economical ways. Economy isn't all up to the manufacturer of the car, not by a long shot, as our Bureau of Mileage Efficiency Engineering has proved.
Do you mean you test the driver of the car, too, for economy?
Well, in a way, yes.
Go ahead, Jim. Tell me how I can test this expensive family of mine.
Well, you all know about some of the things we do in the engineering laboratory. I've told you how we bounce springs up and down the equivalent of thousands of miles of normal use. How we raise and lower windows thousands of times. How we expose the car to all kinds of bad weather. We stage hundreds of torture tests to ensure the safety of the car and also its long life, which brings us to the subject of economy. Take gasoline consumption, for example. The engineers who study mileage efficiency don't guess. They know. When a car is equipped with a gasometer containing an accurately measured amount of fuel, then we can determine just what are the most economical speeds. We get better than 26 miles to the gallon at 20 miles an hour, and we show more than 21 miles to the gallon at 40. That's what I meant when I said 36 miles an hour wasn't expensive. But the mileage goes down definitely as the speed is increased. So driving at 70 miles an hour is only about 1/2 as economical as at 30. But when you get above 50 and the red light shows up on your speedometer needle, that means the driver should watch out. Not only for the law, but also for his pocketbook.
And the driver's father's pocketbook.
But I don't drive that fast, Uncle Jim.
You'll find, just as we did, that smart driving pays dividends. And I don't mean just in saving on doctor and repair bills. I'd like you to make this test sometime. Fill a milk bottle with water right to the brim and put it in the front compartment. Start the engine, shift into first and get going. Then shift into second and then into high. A skillful driver can operate his car so smoothly that not one drop of water will be spilled. And the people riding with him will be a lot happier, too.
But just where does the economy come in, Uncle Jim?
A smooth driver is an economical driver because of the very nature of the gasoline engine. Remember this about your 3 forward speeds. First, or low, means much power and little speed. Second means less power and more speed. Third, or high, means little power and much speed. And power means gasoline consumption. Keep that in mind, Jerry. Remember what you do when the light changes? You give her the gun in low. I've seen you do it. You shift into second and step on it again. Of course, it's fun to leave the other fellow way behind, but let's see what's happening to your gas mileage. Remember that low gear means much power and little speed, and power means gasoline consumption. When you accelerate in low to 25 miles an hour, your economy is 57% lower than in high. And the picture's about the same when you go roaring down the road in second. The economy in second is not so bad as in low, but it's still 30% lower than in high. You use as much gas to drive 30 miles an hour in second as you use to drive 60 in high. And all for what? More often than not, those other cars you left behind you so easily will catch up to you when you stop at the next light. If you had a gasometer on your car and could watch the gasoline being used, you'd understand speeding up in low uses the maximum amount of fuel. Speeding up in second comes next, while moderate speed in high uses the least.
I never thought about it that way before.
Well, we've found that when motorists figure their gasoline mileage, there are lots of things they don't think about. Take driving in cold weather, for example. Our tests show that when the thermometer stands at 30 degrees, a car driven at a constant speed of 25 miles an hour takes a little more than a mile to bring the water temperature to normal. But it takes a lot longer to warm up the engine oil and the transmission and rear axle lubricants. At the end of 1 mile, you're getting 19 to the gallon. But the average for the distance is only a little above 10 miles to the gallon. At the end of 4 miles, you're getting 23 miles to the gallon. But the average is only 17. You see, fuel economy doesn't reach the maximum until you've driven about 8 miles. That's why you get less mileage when you make short trips in cold weather.
You fellows have certainly gone into this economy thing. I hope you children are paying attention.
Here's something else. I thought of you particularly, Phil, when I saw the result of this test made by our experts on mileage efficiency. They accelerated the car from 15 up to 30 miles an hour and then coasted down in gear to 15 miles an hour again. This was repeated scores of times, and the figures prove that you get 25 miles to the gallon when you drive steadily at 25 miles an hour. But they also prove that you get only 16.5 miles to the gallon when you drive from 15 to 30 and back to 15 miles an hour, which is also a 25 mile an hour average. So there is a 34% loss in economy, even though the average speed is the same.
Naturally, that's true, but you can't maintain a constant speed when you're driving in traffic.
Of course you can. But there's an economical way to slow down for the red lights, just as there's an economical way to speed up when you get the green. Our engineers found, as I've just told you. that when you brake with the engine from 30 down to 15 miles an hour, there's 34% loss in economy. But some drivers, Phil, refuse to slow down when they know they must stop in traffic. Instead, they slam on the brakes at the last minute, and our engineers tell us that when you speed up to a stoplight like that, your economy is off 57%. You're getting only about 10 miles to the gallon.
And furthermore, you're the sort of a rough driver that makes everybody else in the car thoroughly uncomfortable. That sound reasonable? Well,
It also sounds familiar. This time, I hope you're paying attention.
Uncle Jim, his brother's keeper.
I was just coming to you, young lady.
Now what have I done?
You not only don't let your engine slow you down smoothly and naturally, but you also come to such a quick stop that you slide the tires. That's not smooth driving, and it's not economical either. Just look at the rubber scraped off on the pavement. One stop like that causes more tire wear than hundreds of miles of normal usage. Burn up the rubber, and you're throwing money into the street.
Why, that's just thoughtlessness. Bea knows better.
Certainly she does. Just thoughtlessness. Something like the fair motorist who drives up in front of a house, and then a couple of women talk and talk and talk with the engine running. Sometimes I've wanted to reach in and turn off the ignition. Turn off the thoughtlessness, which means turn off the wastefulness.
I just never thought.
And yet when the coffee and toast are done, you switch off the percolator and the toaster.
just no use arguing with you scientists.
Believe me, Uncle Jim, no more of those expensive quick starts. And that gives me an idea. Excuse me.
Now when Jerry takes your car, perhaps you won't always find an empty tank.
And I must remember not to jam on the brakes when it's just as easy to come to a smooth stop that's a lot less expensive.
I'm afraid that I'm still going to do a little harmless gossiping now and then. But I promise you, Jim, I won't leave the engine running anymore.
I can still see that money on the pavement. You won't find me sliding the tires anymore when it isn't necessary.
Come on, Bea. Let's see if we can pass the milk bottle test.
You won't, the way you leap away in second.
Anyhow, I don't get tickets for speeding.
Those children are going to be better drivers from now on, Jim. Thanks to your experts on the, what did you call them?
Oh, you mean the group that specializes on mileage efficiency?
Why, they could make all drivers smarter and safer.
And easier on the pocketbook.
How about that game, Phil, to see who pays for Bea's ticket?
Not on your life. You've saved us many times the cost of that ticket with your mileage efficiency. You engineers are not only making your cars safer and more economical, but now you're telling us car owners how to drive safely and economically.